In the Know News brings you the most compelling stories shaping global conversations. Today, we turn our focus to a heated discussion that has once again surfaced between the United States and its northern neighbor, Canada. The topic? Whether Canada should become the 51st state of the U.S. While President Trump has repeatedly floated the idea, especially amid ongoing trade disputes, one of the most influential voices in media, podcaster Joe Rogan, has made his stance clear. He's not in favor. However, Rogan has suggested an alternative, and it might surprise you. During a recent episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, the wildly popular host sat down with comedian Michael Costa and addressed the simmering tensions between the two countries. Why are we upset at Canada? This is stupid, Rogan remarked, emphasizing how unnecessary the feud has become. He pointed out that many Americans now believe Canada is economically dependent on the U.S., with some questioning why the U.S. should continue what they perceive as subsidizing its northern neighbor. Rogan dismissed the idea of annexation outright, stating, "I don't really think they should be our 51st state. There, I said it." However, he jokingly suggested that if the U.S. were to expand, Greenland would be a far more practical choice, noting its untapped natural resources and potential economic advantages. Rogan's comments came at a time when President Trump has intensified his criticisms of Canada's trade policies. Trump has long accused Canada of being a tariff abuser and has implemented harsh economic measures to drive the point home. Recently, he announced sweeping 25% tariffs on Canadian goods, a move expected to take effect on April 2nd. In a post on Truth Social, Trump made his frustrations clear. "We don't need your cars, we don't need your lumber, we don't need your energy, and very soon you will find that out." These strong words have not been received well by Canadian leadership, with newly elected Prime Minister Mark Carney rebuffing Trump's statements as disrespectful. Carney has refused to engage in new trade negotiations with the U.S. until the rhetoric shifts to a more constructive dialogue. Despite these tensions, Rogan, who has been vocal in his support of Trump in the past, took a different approach when discussing the issue. He called for an end to the animosity, urging the U.S. and Canada to become friends again. Expressing frustration over the ongoing dispute, Rogan labeled the feud the dumbest f***ing thing, questioning why the relationship between the two allied nations has soured over economic disagreements. However, Rogan did not shy away from criticizing Canada, specifically its political landscape, which he sees as veering into extreme wokeness. While he was an outspoken opponent of former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, he appears equally unimpressed with Carney, sarcastically remarking, "They got a new guy who is just as bad." Adding another layer to the discussion, Rogan proposed that Greenland would be a more strategic addition to the U.S. than Canada. He pointed out that acquiring Greenland, an idea Trump previously suggested during his presidency, would offer the U.S. access to valuable natural resources, particularly rare earth minerals. "I think Greenland is more accessible." "We could probably buy that," Rogan said, half-jokingly. He also referenced global warming, suggesting that if climate change continues to alter the planet's temperatures, Greenland's land and resources could become increasingly valuable. Meanwhile, tensions between Trump and Carney remain high. Carney has maintained that Canada will entertain trade discussions under duress, stating that Trump's ongoing verbal attacks are only further damaging the relationship. In an interview with Fox News' Laura Ingraham, Trump reiterated his belief that Canada should be part of the U.S., claiming, "We don't need their energy, we don't need anything, we certainly don't want their automobiles. I deal with every country, indirectly or directly. One of the nastiest countries to deal with is Canada." As the April 2nd tariff deadline looms, the future of U.S. Canada relations remains uncertain. Will the economic pressure force Canada to negotiate, or will Carney's firm stance hold strong against Trump's aggressive trade policies? While the idea of Canada becoming the 51st state remains highly unlikely, this dispute underscores the growing divide between the two nations. One thing is certain, voices like Joe Rogan's continue to shape the public conversation, questioning the motives behind political feuds, while advocating for a return to common sense. For more in-depth coverage on global affairs, politics, and technology, stay tuned to In the Know News, where we bring you the facts that matter most.